As a kid, I would see someone rapping and I would say, bro, it's off beat. And then I would teach them how to get on beat.
Okay.
Music is a 2-syllable word, so you break it down by syllable. Music, use it. So if I was rapping about music, let me teach you how that word I could use it.
Use it.
See what I'm saying? I have about 27 albums. It's one thing about passion. You can't buy it, but you can definitely sell it.
Still on the Lily Show today, we are having a wonderful person, a rapper, a music artist, a music lecturer. I don't know. I will say a music lecturer. I don't know if such a language ever existed, but if it doesn't, please add my to it. But it's one person that have inspired me a lot about music, not just music, but hip hop as a music. And I'm beginning to see there are more to hip hop than what the world have made us see. And that goes by name Ohene Srvant.
Okay. It's ours. Listen. Wop babaloo bop balop bam boom. Chicago me a new spot in South Cancun. I traveled across the globe while flexing these damn tunes. A legend of black dudes who know what the raps do. I make shit that's ape shit to baboons. Never make shit from late shift till at noon. The pen chemist in the middle of pandemics. Never been timid. Never told you I had limits. That's right. I'm a rapper, I'm an author, I'm a beat maker. I'm a director, rap professor, and a keys player. I'm not a one-man band. I am a one-man label. I do what one man can't.
It's fast. It's deadly insect. It makes the whole family unrest, especially at night. But worry no more, cause the revolutionary Abro Super Blast Mosquito Spray. It travels fast, works fast, and with a very good fragrance, accommodating mild and tender smell. That's Abro Super Blast Insecticide Spray. Distributed by Kuscharich Ghana Limited, Spinters Road, Motorway, Accra, Ghana. Abro, trusted name worldwide.
Just another day and pandemic guy. I think Agent Nelson featured them in Guy, yeah, and that is the genius level, okay, which we are here to get to know the genius about the level.
Oh,
Ohene, welcome to our studio.
Thank you for having me. You know, I'm enjoying my stay, and
I see.
It's wonderful to be here with you.
I should be saying we are grateful to have you in Ghana. We are grateful to know you a Ghanaian. We are grateful to know you a Black. We are grateful to know that you represent whatever culture has made you to represent in terms of the skin or our skin color.
Right.
And we are proud that we are Blacks.
Absolutely.
And that makes us super heroes.
Yeah, there's a lot to be proud about.
Ohene, you see, during our interaction, I'm happy we had that interaction some days ago, and that helped me to understand that what we see in life, you know, sometimes you look at someone, he's handsome, he's cool, you just admire him and you go. But when you get closer, you find out that there's more to this face, there's more to this body, there's more to this handsomeness. There is uniqueness about him. And that is what my interaction with you gave me.
Well, thank you. That's an honor and that's a compliment.
I'm so happy to meet you. So, Ohene, like I said before, this is Lily's show. We're in season 2, and we're doing true life stories of individuals.
Season 2. That means you're doing very well.
I am. We're getting to that level, yeah. So, and we're talking about people's true life stories.
Okay.
Like I said, when I listened to your documentary, that was what pushed me to have you on my set.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, because your documentary talked so much about your upbringing, the way you were raised, where you came from, and all that. In fact, along the line, I found out that you have a part of you from Nigeria.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that you
Yeah, my ancestry is, a relative did the ancestry. There's Nigeria, there's Ghana, in the ancestry
Yeah, yeah.
test. So yeah, it's an amazing journey that I'm continuing. I guess you
You
could
guess
say. Yeah,
you would definitely continue.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Ohene, I want to know about your childhood, because about your childhood is one of the things that draw me closer to you. Your childhood was not a bed of roses, and you came out wonderfully well, right? So we want to know
Thank you.
more. My fans, my audience, my people want to know more about the upbringing of Ohene Srvant.
Yeah, I have a unique upbringing in that I grew up in the States and I grew up in Ghana, right?
Yeah.
And my time in the States was very tumultuous. My biological mother had real struggles with drug abuse. And unfortunately, as a result, I went through a lot of the things you would go through, being homeless and not having food at times, to eat, being abused, a lot of abuse, and also being teased at school as a kid. All these are all things that's in my subconscious mind that I've
What I'm
overcome.
sorry to cut. What particularly was that you were teased about in school?
Well, when you're really extremely poor in a country that is very capitalistic,
Yeah.
even the rest of the poor kids laugh at you.
Seriously?
Yeah. So it was that type of situation.
Meaning that there are levels of poverty?
Well, yes, I would say. I think that's a good way of putting it. So, but they don't realize how much they're in poverty as well. So these are kids. You can't really blame them. But so going through that, also I mentioned to you off camera that I had a grandfather that was very abusive,
Yeah.
to the point that he would physically abuse me, or he would kick me out of the house at 1 and 2 a.m. and I would just roam the streets looking for somewhere. One time he pulled a gun on me. And so I was blessed to have some relatives from my side of the family in Ghana who asked for me to come and stay
with
in,
them.
yeah, here. So from JSS to SSS.
At what point did your grandfather, at what age did he pull the gun at you?
Oh, I could have been maybe 5 or 6. And I only know this because one of my aunts reminded me, because I had forgotten. I've been through so many things, I don't remember everything. So I'll give him one example. My mother was dating this guy, and everyone would always leave me at home alone. And I saw they had this organ, this old piano organ in the house. It wasn't working. So I started to put the wires together, and somehow I made it work. He came and cut the wires. It's like this. It was always something, some obstacle. So I think those things helped to shape me as far as being the beginning. As rough as it was with my mother, I understand her story. She had a very abusive childhood. Like I mentioned, my grandfather was very abusive. That's her father.
To be her father.
Right. And so for her, she decided to quit drugs, to quit everything, drinking, everything, for the time that I was in her womb. So the only reason that I have the health that I have to be able to even communicate to you, because she was into drugs very seriously.
Wow.
So I would probably have had some kind of disability if she hadn't made that sacrifice. So I love her, even though, she had a lot of limitations that she wasn't working with a lot, but she still managed to show up for me. And I say my other mother is the one from GH. She's actually my auntie, but she raised me. She's my mother.
I'm not cutting you short, but then let me ask you, have you at one point find out from your mom what could make the dad be too abusive on her issues, or be too abusive to her?
No, she unfortunately passed away before I got to know much about her. I knew her, and we had a relationship.
What age were you then?
But I'm sorry?
What age were you then?
When she died, I was 19.
19. Okay.
Yeah, and so by the time there's so many questions. I asked one of my aunts one time because I thought I could save her. And I remember one time I carried this burden around with me, and I used to show up to clubs and go grab her arm and bring her out of the club, and I used to do all kinds. I even went into abandoned buildings
Wow.
looking for her.
Wow.
And I told my aunt one day, I said, I just wish that I could have done more. I think I could have saved her. And she said, oh, she told me she didn't want to be saved. She said he thinks that he can save me, but you have to want to be saved. And so essentially what she was saying was that this world is too much for her to deal with. So I understood that, and that was very freeing to me. Some of us look at death in a negative way, but in that case, I understood. She had been through so many things, and she looked at me. One day she looked me in my eyes. I went to a studio and I played music for her. I put the headphones on her head. She listened to, she said, you did all of this? Because, I'm playing the instruments and different things. And she said, if I never did anything right, I had you.
You are one thing I did right.
Yeah. So that's something I had to carry with me on my shoulders as well, because that says a lot.
It's fast, it's deadly insect. It makes the whole family unrest, especially at night. But worry no more, cause the revolutionary Abro Super Blast mosquito spray. It travels fast, works fast, and with a very good fragrance, accommodating mild and tender smell. That's Abro Super Blast insecticide spray. Distributed by Kuscharich Ghana Limited, Spinters Road, Motorway, Accra, Ghana. Abro, trusted name worldwide.
Ohene, looking at the scenario surrounding your mom and you, it's a burden. Someone like me, it's a story that I will keep rewriting over and over and over in my head. And I might not personally know how to be able to deal with it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
How have you been dealing with it as a person? How have you been able to cope with this whole situation and still come out a wonderful person? Not just wonderful and talented, highly talented. How were you able to do that? What was the strength behind it?
I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in spirituality. And spirituality, some people lean on drugs and alcohol. I lean on spirituality and music. And music is spirituality to me. Art is spirituality to me. So being raised in GH, I was raised Christian, extreme Christian though, extreme.
All right.
Okay. As time has evolved, I've learned and I've grown in many ways. And so spirituality is very important to me. I think that, one, I live with where I am. This is one of my sayings. Wherever I am, that's where I am.
Okay.
So that's where I was. All of those things I just shared with you is to help someone else who's going through some things. But that's not me today. I'm Ohene Srvant today, right? That's a different person. And I keep evolving. And, I've said this before, but my greatest strength is knowing my weakness. So whatever the things that are not right about my life, okay, tomorrow we're fixing this. How can we make this better? Every day we can get better. We can improve constantly. So the movement I'm a part of, we have a saying, we say, be forward. Always be forward thinking. Whatever you have been, you can be more than that. So whatever a person is today, for anyone watching, whatever you are today, you can be more, right? You can be more. If you're a musician, you can also be a photographer. You're a photographer, you can also be an athlete. The limitations that we put on ourselves, it's really a figment of our imagination. Our minds are limitless. When you think of your mind, and most people, when you think of your mind, you think of your mind being inside your skull, right?
Yeah,
That's where your brain is.
of course.
That's not where your mind is.
Okay.
For
So they're two
example,
different things.
yes. For example, if I was to say to you, take your mind to the local market, or take your mind to maybe your grandmother's house or something like this. You could do it. So how is your mind able to go to a different place while you
Why
sit
you're
in one
still in
place?
one place?
Because
Yeah.
our mind is everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I had an abusive childhood, abusive grandfather, all of those things. That's who they were, right? And at the time, I was an abused child, but I can be more than that.
You
I
can
can
be
be
more,
more than that.
because you have shown me that in different perspectives.
Right,
I'm
right.
telling you this because there was a time we carried on research in the US, and we figured out that most blacks are into drugs.
Right. Well,
And those who have been highly abusively into drugs, their kids also turns up to be drug addicts.
well, let me correct you. Not most. I think there's an unfortunate reality with some of those things with media, right? Media would, of course, promote that most, right? But I think there's a percentage, and you just don't get to hear from the percentage, like myself, who are able to navigate this world through spirituality, through, a talent, right? It could be, some people do ballet, or it could be anything, right? We just don't get to see them enough. And that's part of why I'm here.
Okay, Ohene,
Right.
I wanna ask you something. You are into hip hop, right?
Right.
I know hip hop is one of the driving forces for the youth these days.
Right.
These days. And it's another medium where people voice out situations that surround the environment, their society.
Right.
Why did you pick on hip hop? Why not any other kind of music?
That's an interesting question. I don't think I had much of a choice. I think that, I think hip hop came to me when I was in school at Rich Church School here in GH. One of my friends challenged me. Said, "Oh, you're from America and you can't rap." This is what he said to me. So I took it as a challenge. I mean, I actually could. I didn't know of any raps, but I did have some things. I knew how to potentially come up with some rhyme, and I came up with a few things, and they went crazy. And the next day, it was just 3 people in the room. The next day, it was the whole class. Then it was 2 classes. Then it was the school, and I realized that I had something, and so I wanted to get better at it. I'm always trying to improve.
At what age was that?
I was 12.
That's
12.
too early.
Yeah. So
That's
so they would always call me for anything. And then when the teacher as soon as he would leave the classroom, "Oh, play the beat, Charlie, let's go." It's like I would start rapping. So people knew me for rapping, from the very beginning.
Now, there's this part of you that might interest everyone. I'm sorry to say this. These are the parts where in school we know course 001 is English. Course 002 or 3, I think, is mathematics or something. But the most interesting part of his hip hop life is that he's a lecturer. Okay? So I'm going to ask you again. What got you motivated to begin to lecture rap in school in
Okay.
the US?
So there became a conversation in hip hop about the quality of rappers going down and down and down. And I'm a solutions-oriented person. I don't like to talk about the problems. I like to create solutions.
Solution to it.
So I started teaching a hip hop class to children in the basement of a church. Now, I used to do this as a kid. I would hear someone rapping and I would say, "Bro, you're off beat. Like, do it like this and you'll be back on beat." Or, "You're rapping too fast right here. Slow it down." So I was always coaching people. But I realized at this point that I need to try and figure out a way to make rap, more accessible, and so that people could learn how to do it as opposed to complain and blame, the younger children. So I started teaching. And one of the mothers of one of the children that I was teaching told me, there's like, they're teaching like a hip hop class at Temple University. Now this was hip hop history, wasn't teaching hip hop as far as rap. They were like, maybe what you do could be something like that. It could add to it. So I went to the class and I realized, oh, they're teaching the history, like when did it start, stuff like that. So I started, well, I went and auditioned. I went to, speak to the heads of the school and the heads of the program, and I did the whole interview as a rap. I said, I'll just show you. And I put the music, I had music with me.
And how was it?
And I just started rapping. Why should we give it to you? Well, because I could rap. And if you give me a chance, I'll start teaching it in the class. And I'm like going just freestyling this. And they're like really blown away at the end of their. So next thing I know, I got the call. They said they cleared out the whole space. I couldn't believe it. So I had really developed my course, and I wanted to make it very intense. So every day we would teach different elements of rap, different eras of rap, and ultimately at the end we would do a cypher, freestyle session where everyone would form a circle. I would play a beat and everyone had to rap. There were some people who came in who couldn't freestyle. They would end up freestyling off the top of their heads for like 15 minutes. And we'd be like, okay, that's enough. It's enough.
That all sounds so interesting, Ohene. Okay, I want to ask you a very interesting question here. All the time we've been having conversation, I haven't heard you talk about your dad and all that. I remember I asked you during our interactive session that if your dad walks in here right now, what are you going to do? Because you've not met him, you don't even know what he looked like.
Right.
You've not been in a position to question him or pour your mind out to him.
Right.
And wherever he is right now, I know he should be proud of you.
That's interesting.
He should be proud
that's an
of
interesting
you.
one, right?
He should be proud of a product he has never met in his life.
Right.
But like I said again, because I want this on camera again, if your dad walks in here right now, what could be your reaction?
It's fast, it's deadly insect. It makes the whole family unrest, especially at night. But worry no more, cause the revolutionary Abro Super Blast Mosquito Spray. It travels fast, works fast, and with a very good fragrance, accommodating mild and tender smell. That's Abro Super Blast Insecticide Spray. Distributed by Kuscharich Ghana Limited, Spintex Road, Motorway, Accra, Ghana. Abro, trusted name worldwide.
We talked about this, and I said I can't say definitively what it would be. It could turn into a fight.
A what? A fight?
It could be a fight. It could be a hug. I could cry. I don't know. But no, I don't think it would turn into a fight.
But seriously, have you at one point thought of, I want to meet him, I want to see him? Have you I want to meet him, I want to see him, I want to ask him questions? And what could be your first question to him if you have the opportunity to see him right now?
I know this is going to sound strange, but I don't really have a question. I think, like I've mentioned to you before, I've been blessed to have had some incredible mentors in the music world, and one being the late James Mtume, who just passed last year. This man called me son. He admired me so much. He loved every song I ever wrote, and he was hard on me whenever I didn't do what he knew I could do. And he even saved me from some real dangerous situations because I'm a rebel, as people know me to be. And so just with his wise words, So I don't know that the community of people that raised me, I don't know if one individual can top it. I also want to say this. What I've learned about my story and from my story from some recent things that have happened in my life is that even the people that raise you can't necessarily take credit for the work that God does in your life. That is something that I have to really, I mean that. The people that I used to always give credit to for making me who I am, they didn't even know the role that they were playing in my life.
But have you at any point be grateful to God for giving him the opportunity to make someone like you be in this world, even though if you've not
Yes,
known him?
I'm grateful to every single person that played a role.
In your
Some
life?
are smaller than others, but it all makes up for the person that sits here today. So I'm grateful to everyone in,
But
in
have
their
you
own
have you
way.
missed his presence as a father in your life? Have you at one point, let's be realistic, let's be honest, have you at one point feel, I wish my father was here. I wish he would have made a lot of
I mentioned this to
differences.
you as well. Like I do understand your perspective, and I'm not disparaging the value of a father. I just would hope that if it were the right father, then I would welcome that. But the question is, if it were the right father, would we be having this conversation?
Okay, that's another thing.
So then,
another thing.
that makes me understand, because the right father finds a way, right? So if he
To connect,
yes,
right?
to make it happen. And so if he was unable to, for whatever reason, he still served his purpose.
As a father.
And we have to learn in this world to take the things that a person can give and leave the things that they're not,
They
that
can't be able
yeah,
to.
they're not. So I look at him and say, if he gave me DNA, if it's just the
That's all
DNA,
that is
if
all
it's just
God
my
said you should
eyebrows,
do.
right? If it's just my nose, right? If whatever it is that's helped me in any way, thank you. And we can say thank you to people and still move on in life.
But have you at any point tried finding out where your father came from, how is it like?
I think at one point I tried,
And
and I didn't really pursue it as much.
Why?
I didn't really put as
much
much of an
effort.
effort.
Why? You feel it wasn't necessary, or what difference could it make if he comes now?
You know, I'm all Ohene Srvant now. So it's the question is, I think what would happen is I would end up mentoring my own father. I mean, I've learned so much. I've traveled. I've been in the presence of some very powerful people. I would end up lecturing my dad. I'm pretty sure that's how it would play out.
Seriously, I love your spirit. And the father, you're a father as well. And I'm happy you are making a wonderful impact in your children's life.
It's fast, it's deadly insect. It makes the whole family unrest, especially at night. But worry no more, cause the revolutionary Abro Super Blast Mosquito Spray. It travels fast, works fast, and with a very good fragrance, accommodating mild and tender smell. That's Abro Super Blast Insecticide Spray. Distributed by Coast Ghana Limited, Spintex Road, Motorway, Accra, Ghana. Abro, trusted name worldwide.
For some of you who don't know our social handles, please, you can follow us on our Facebook, Lily's Show. Follow us on our Twitter, Lily's Show. Follow us on our Instagram, Lily's Show. Thank you, and we are blessed to have you guys with us.